Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the University, graduates, graduands and guests. In May of last year, the Jubilee Centre for Character and Values was established as a new research centre within our School of Education here at the University of Birmingham. The idea for such a centre arose in the aftermath of the August 2011 riots, when there were so many calls from many quarters for a renewal of public and private virtues, for a stronger emphasis on communal values and on ethical teaching to discourage such events ever happening again. Character, and specifically its neglect, as Anthony Selden, Master of Wellington College, wrote in relation to the opening of the new centre, is the #1 issue of our age. A society that is not grounded in deep values, that doesn't know who its heroes are, and that lacks a commitment to the common good is one that is failing. Such we have become, he said. And as he went on to say, the aim of the centre is to promote and strengthen character within schools, families, communities and companies. It argues that character strengths can be taught, are critical to a life well led, and will benefit all aspects of the country if they are more widely in evidence. The development of a sense of gratitude among people in Britain will be at the heart of the work. The character strengths it will advocate are self-restraint, hard work, resilience, optimism, courage, generosity, modesty, empathy, kindness and good manners. Old-fashioned values maybe. Some will sneer and ridicule them as middle class, as public school. But these are eternal values as advocated by Aristotle and countless thinkers since. 1 year on, the Jubilee Centre for Character and Values is now well established and working effectively with a team of 20 academics and support personnel dedicated to research into the traits of human character, values and virtues that shape UK society. A whole series of research projects is underway, each one focusing on a different aspect of British society, from character education in schools to examining the values that motivate our professionals, our teachers, lawyers, doctors, those in the media, those in the financial sector, civil servants too. The aim is to try to answer some of the big questions that affect our understanding of modern Britain, including: how does the power of good character transform and shape the future of society? What would be the wider social, cultural and moral impact of a more grateful Britain? What personal virtue should ground public service? And how can fostering character traits like hope and optimism be helpful in working towards a better British society? An exciting and challenging research agenda indeed. But none of it would have been possible without a multi-million-pound award from the John Templeton Foundation. This being a philanthropic body that supports just such research on the big questions of human purpose and ultimate reality. The foundation was established in 1987, but the story behind it reaches back at least for a further 50 years. John Templeton, its founder, was born in 1912 in Tennessee, USA. He attended Yale University through the Great Depression years, and then as a Rhodes Scholar, he came to the UK and took a further degree in law at Balliol College, Oxford, before returning to the US to launch his career in Wall Street. There he went on to create some of the world's largest and most successful international investment funds. When war broke out in Europe in 1939, he borrowed money to buy 100 shares in each of 104 different companies whose shares were selling at $1 or less each. As things turned out, only 4 proved to be losers, and he made large profits on all the rest. And his luck continued after the war when he entered the mutual fund industry and established the Templeton Growth Fund. This yielded sensational returns and led Money magazine in 1999 to describe John as arguably the greatest global stock picker of the century. Such success thus allowed him to fulfill a long-standing and growing personal ambition to promote the subject of spirituality, a subject that greatly interested him, and to take further steps to foster spiritual development. He did this by creating a major international prize, akin to the Nobel Prizes, but to be awarded specifically for an exemplary contribution by a living person to life's spiritual dimension. Just a month ago, in a glittering ceremony in London's Guildhall, the 42nd winner of the Templeton Prize received their award, this being former Anglican Archbishop of Cape Town, Desmond Tutu, for his lifelong work in advancing spiritual principles such as love and forgiveness, which have helped to liberate people around the world. And last year's winner was similarly internationally renowned, the Tibetan Buddhist spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama. With much of the same overall aims in mind, in 1987, John Templeton also established a foundation as a grant-giving body to support initiatives that were adjudged innovative, creative, enthusiastic, and open to competition and new ideas in their approach to the big questions of life. For example, does evolution explain human nature? Does the free market corrode moral character? Does science make belief in God obsolete? Does the universe have a purpose? And in the same year that the foundation was established, John became a British subject and was created a Knight Bachelor by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth in recognition of all his philanthropic contribution. Sir John died in 2008 at the age of 95, but his son, Dr. John Templeton, a surgeon specialising in operations on children, and his wife, Pina, also a clinician, she an anaesthetist, picked up the baton and have dedicated their lives in retirement to leading the foundation. Under Jack's inspiring presidency and chairmanship of a board of 12 trustees, the foundation has continued to flourish in the pursuit of its mission to support research and endeavour on big question subjects, ranging from complexity, evolution and infinity to creativity, forgiveness, love and free will. It also encourages civil, informed dialogue between scientists, philosophers and theologians, and between such experts and the public at large for the purposes of definitional clarity and new insights. The Foundation's motto, which is "How little we know, how eager to learn," captures so well the intentions of its inspiring and original benefactor, Sir John Templeton, to support open-minded inquiry and through breakthrough discoveries to advance human progress. Today, with the work of the new Jubilee Centre here at Birmingham now well underway, it's an appropriate moment for this university to express its gratitude for the major financial award from the John Templeton Foundation, and indeed to reflect with admiration on the bold and imaginative vision of the foundation and, of course, of its founder, Sir John, who himself wrote extensively on spirituality and on the role that scientific research could play in expanding the spiritual horizons of humankind. And we're privileged today to have in our company Heather Templeton Dill, granddaughter of Sir John, and herself a trustee of the foundation. Like her parents, Jack and Pina, it's delightful to have her with us to help us mark and celebrate the generous support that now underpins the Jubilee Centre of the School of Education, and particularly as we induct into the Chancellor's Guild of Benefactors the John Templeton Foundation, this being the highest honour the university can bestow on a benefactor. Chancellor, I present to you Heather Templeton Dill on behalf of her father, Dr. Jack Templeton, President and Chairman of the John Templeton Foundation, for the induction into the Chancellor's Guild of Benefactors.
Congratulations.
Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduates. It is an honor to accept an honorary degree on behalf of the John Templeton Foundation from the University of Birmingham's Chancellor's Guild of Benefactors. I am here in place of my father, John M. Templeton Jr., who is president of the John Templeton Foundation. And indeed, if my father were here, he would say he was only representing Sir John Templeton, the founder of the John Templeton Foundation. The John Templeton Foundation is being recognized for its contribution to the Jubilee Centre for Character and Values, located at the University of Birmingham School of Education. While my grandfather, Sir John Templeton, achieved great success in his years as a professional financial investor, he considered the work of his foundation to be vastly more valuable to human existence than anything he had accomplished in the stock market. Therefore, on May 16, 2012, my father joined Dr. James Arthur, Lord Watson, and others at the House of Lords to launch the Jubilee Center for Character and Values to promote, build, and strengthen character virtues in the United Kingdom and abroad. With an initial emphasis on studying and promoting gratitude throughout the United Kingdom, the Jubilee Center aims to become a resource for researching virtues and for encouraging people to live more virtuously. The Jubilee Center joins my grandfather in the belief that virtue can be cultivated. My grandfather felt that he had worked hard to develop positive character virtues in his own life, which enabled him to succeed. He wrote that building character may be likened to building a house. As you respond to life's experiences, the choices you make become the building blocks that create and construct your character. My father, Jack Templeton, carries on this vision through his leadership of the John Templeton Foundation with a robust effort to cultivate virtues. The Gratitude Britain project, funded by the John Templeton Foundation and housed at the Jubilee Center, represents one such effort. This project embodies two key assumptions: virtues can and must be taught, and gratitude is a good virtue to teach because it undergirds and encourages the practice of many other virtues. If you are truly grateful for what you have, you are more likely to be generous. The act of saying thank you bespeaks humility because in expressing gratitude to another, you are recognizing the value and worth of another person. Moreover, the University of Birmingham is the ideal institution to host the Jubilee Center and to lead the charge in promoting gratitude. The director of the Jubilee Center, Dr. James Arthur, has received a number of grants from the John Templeton Foundation. We know him, we know his work, and we know that his grants yield results. In addition, the University of Birmingham, as you know, is located almost directly in the center of the United Kingdom, and in that regard is a locus of academic activity that permeates throughout the United Kingdom and the world. Even more, the University of Birmingham actively encourages students to give back to the university and to serve the local community through over 300 different volunteer opportunities. And so, dear students, on this celebratory day, remember to say thank you. Isaac Newton said, "If I have seen a little further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." May I humbly submit that you are not here today solely because of your own efforts. Family and friends have supported you. Professors have instructed you, mentored you, and challenged you. You might even give thanks for Sir Josiah Mason, the Right Honorable Joseph Chamberlain, Lord Calthorpe, and even the great American industrialist and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie, who all committed time and resources to the founding and building of the University of Birmingham. You stand on many shoulders. Take time today to say thank you, to write a thank you note, or to acknowledge all the many factors that contributed to the successful completion of your degree. Finally, on behalf of my father, thank you, University of Birmingham, for your commitment to virtue education and for honoring the John Templeton Foundation.